Episode 2. Wow. You know, I really do try not to be like a fanboy, and I definitely try not to be that douche Hardwick where I'm completely overexcited or completely overanalyze or completely do anything. But this is one of those times where I'm just, wow. I took notes, and I still can't, even with my notes, I can't form a reasonable thought because this episode was just so epic to me. It's easily top 3 episodes of my favorite. My personal favorite. One will, I think, always be my favorite, and I think this episode is probably tied, if not beating, Terminus, where Carol Walker bombs Terminus, because that was just huge to me. And it's hard for me to compare because that one was kind of a long time ago, and I don't remember I remember being excited, but I don't remember if I felt this excited. So it's not a fair competition. But let's just go with what I can remember. We start off, we got Enid, she's roaming around, and they show her with her parents, and she's telling them, we should get going. We're almost there, honey. And I really liked how they did it, where they just show a couple walkers coming around the corner, and she goes to say something, and I don't even think they let her get the words out, and they just cut to her in the car. That was pretty good. And for me, I liked that, And then she, they show her surviving, and the JSS, and she finally makes it to Alexandria. Then we cut to the town, I guess modern, it's not a flashback, modern time town. And I'm starting to get kind of like a little irritated because I was starting to think, well, we're not going to find out what happens. That was just, a tease at the end of episode 1. So I'm getting a little mad, but not like viciously angry. I'm just like, oh man, And then they cut to Carol, and believe it or not, it gets interesting for me because as much as I don't try to overanalyze things, I know everyone thinks that Carol is just faking. It's like, oh, Carol playing Holly Homemaker or whatever it is. I really think Carol likes, at least part of her really likes functioning in society, because the last time they had society, she didn't have any self-worth whatsoever. And I'm not talking about her just finding this strength where, she is this badass. I'm not, that's kind of like after society strength. I think she really liked the fact that she's functioning in society and people actually value her. There's people actually going, wait, you know how to make pasta? She's like, yeah, you quit smoking and I'll show you how. I think that she enjoyed being a person of value. I think that she enjoyed having someone value the skills that she always had. And her husband would tell her, well, I don't care, your food's crap. She's like, well, I think that she missed that. She was married to a douche that never gave her any kind of credit, and now these people are. And even though we know it's a paper society and it's going to fall sooner or later, at least she knows that had she not been around this asshole, that she would have been a functioning member of society with friends and people who valued her and her opinions. Okay, so anyway, let's move on. So the scene that got me, Carol's looking out the window, and she's kind of happy because she sees the lady. Carol basically told her, look, if you stop smoking in the house, I'll help you make pasta. And she sees the lady smoking out front. Quick little side rant. Daryl smokes like a frickin' chimney, and Carol's never mentioned a word to him about it. Yeah, she's got it bad. Yeah, okay. But the machete scene, and it's not fair to compare or anything, but I'm just going to compare. For that scene was brutal. It wasn't graphic. It wasn't this blood splatter. It didn't show, but it was brutal. It was just, so quick and so brutal. I can't think of another word. And, you know, we all watch American Horror, and they've gone heavy on the graphic, you know. And just by comparison, the machete scene on the old woman was far more shocking to me than the drill scene in American Horror. You know, the anal drill, I guess you want to call it. Just because it came out of nowhere and it was horrific. I mean, it really was horrific. So Carol sees that, and then, you know, they cut to a 72-minute commercial break, and I'm so afraid that I shouldn't run out and smoke that I actually sit through that stupid commercial break. And then we come back, and, you know, basically Carol's like, boom, boom, boom. She's already gone into fall of society mode. But the wolves are just going crazy. I mean, they are just running through, slaughtering things. And I'm starting to think that the wolves are a lot more like the whisperers than we thought, because they are crazy. They may not wear skins, but they are absolute lunatics, you know. And it was done really well. There, you know, when they're just storming the town, it reminded me of a couple movies. You know, it reminded me of the 13th Warrior when they just come running through and leaving nothing but bodies in their wake. You know, it reminded me of Zulu Dawn when the Zulus just come running out of a trench and they're just slaughtering the English. You know, it was like that, and it was done that well. You know, or it reminded me of a scene in Platoon where, you know, an American soldier just comes running through and he says, they're right behind me and they ain't stopping for shit. It was that cinematically powerful to me, you know. And I think it's pretty awesome because it was a TV show that did that, not a major motion picture. So I was real happy with that, you know. Then we cut back to Carol, and she is just, I mean, I guess if a cynic were watching, he might say, oh, they're trying to make her out to be too much Rambo. But to me, we've spent a lot of time with Carol. We've watched her grow pretty generically. I've always felt like they did a good job growing Carol into this strong character. So it was okay by me, you know. And, you know, she's just so good at this. She's so good at turning it off, you know, and turning it on. And then Morgan shows up. And I don't like Morgan. I don't want him in the show anymore. I know that he was a popular character, but they are just using him as an excuse to carry on this boring, hold on to my humanity, Rick. I don't want to see that anymore. And, you know, even though I know it's just fiction, he had no freaking right to let those people go. They were a threat. They murdered innocent people. And I get that, you know, it's The Walking Dead and it's hard to say you're innocent. Well, these people actually did figure out a way to remain innocent. They had isolated themselves from the horror, and it may have made them naive, but it also made them innocent. You know, they were just outside smoking. They weren't plotting attacks, you know, and they were slaughtered. He had no right letting them go. I would exile his ass. I pray that they write him out of the show. I literally hate Morgan. Yeah. So, you know, they get the guns and they start forming their own kind of minor resistance. They're fighting back and they're driving back the wolves. And Ron, you're the only guy I know who stays in the house less than Carl. You know, please shut up. We got the surgeon. You know, I don't really think, you know, that she should be too let down. I mean, it's not like it's a real hospital. It's some guy's bedroom. You know, and they hacked an artery. You know, it gives that lady, 3 minutes tops before she bleeds out? It's not like they have, you know, blood supplies around. It's basically a stab in the dark. So don't feel bad, Doc. I mean, I know you think you didn't do a good job, but, yeah, what are you going to do? And then we get the note, and because she won't say goodbye, she just tells him, just survive somehow. And I'm the idiot who didn't figure out what that meant, but I've got Amanda Lee, so she told me what it meant. And I guess that's what all the JSS was, just survive somehow. Now, I don't know about Enid. That whole we thing, is that just a plant? Is it her and Ron? That's how, or whatever his name is. I think it's Ron. Hey, that's how we used to sneak out. Is she a scout for somebody? If she is a scout for somebody, I don't think it's the wolves, because I'm going to be honest with you, and I don't mean to be too graphic or anything like that, but they strike me as the kind of people that would just like keep her as a sex slave or something. They don't strike me as the kind of people that would find value in her. Although somehow they did form a big group, but they're so predatory that I don't think that she would be scouting for their group. I think if she were a scout for somebody, it would be Negan. And to me, Negan is just as crazy as the wolves, but he's also more sinister in a way where he might be like, yeah, I don't mind raping that 12-year-old, but I see more value if I use her. As the wolves would just be like, I want to cut her arm off or something like that. So we'll see. I mean, that's just pure speculation on my part. And, I tried to do a good rant for this episode, and I don't think I did, because this episode was so good. It was just really good. Season 6 is off to not bad a start. The only problem I have, and it's not even a problem because it's the best kind of problem you can have, is we have like 7,000 walkers heading towards Alexandria. And even with that, I'm afraid next week might be a letdown compared to tonight. So anyway, I'm dying to hear what you guys think about it. So post, let me know, let's talk about it. Just renewed my being The Walking Dead being my favorite show. I mean, this episode was top shelf. I can't say enough. So what do you guys think?